Sama, I made this film for you. Sama, I need you to understand what we are fighting for.
The Hamptons are at the very east end of Long Island.
We have some of the wealthiest people on the planet.
And right in the middle of that, we have a Native American Indian reservation.
The Southampton Town Board has made massive efforts to protect their colonial sites, but they don't make an effort to help preserve our Native American sacred sites. We have to live here together.
Conscience Point.
Ohio lawmakers want more religious expression in public schools. A Southern girl is starved within inches of her life. And in sports, Ohio University's men's basketball team has a young standout. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Spencer Charlton. Welcome to Newswatch, and thank you for joining us. A bill expanding religious freedom in public schools is on its way to the Ohio Senate after a vote Wednesday in the House. The Republican-dominated Ohio House passed the measure with a 61-31 vote. If enacted, the bill would eliminate a law that limits expression of religious beliefs during lunch and non-instructional periods at public schools. It would also allow students to use religious expression in homework, artwork, and other assignments without being penalized. Nearly 500 people are out of power after a massive gas line explosion in Ohio early this morning. Emergency crews in and around Pepper Pike, about 13 miles east of Cleveland, responded to the blast. People in the immediate area were forced to evacuate. The blast was reportedly triggered by a gas leak, and utility workers were able to shut off the gas, feeding the fire. Several roads in the area are now closed, and there have not been any reports of injuries or damage to the homes thus far. The Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office is investigating Cleveland police officers after they shot and killed a suspect in a homicide yesterday. Cleveland police officers acting on a tip were dispatched to an address following an earlier shooting at a gas station. At this address on the city's east side, shots were fired. The homicide suspect was later pronounced dead at the scene. The former GM Lordstown plant is under new management. The plant's new owner, Steve Burns, visited the plant in preparation of shifting production to electric vehicles.
Steve Burns walked into the Lordstown building for the first time after buying it, and there was plenty of excitement for his deal to start Lordstown Motors.
This isn't just a factory for us, this is our headquarters.
Battery packs and motors will be made inside the plant. Lordstown Motors is inviting other suppliers to come here. The plant remains in great shape. It was built for volume. Lordstown Motors is starting with one model, the Endurance. Its surveys show there's a bigger than anticipated market for this.
If we come out with the first electric pickup truck, I don't think we'll be able to make them fast enough.
Burns plans to meet with the UAW soon and expects to make trucks before the end of 2020. He admits the project has gotten tremendous help from the state. State Senator Michael Rowley has taken a test drive and is convinced.
The acceleration of these vehicles, it's nothing like you could experience, and the stopping's even better. This is a serious product. This could change the way that we look at driving for the rest of our existence.
Burns wants to make it happen here. He's putting the Lordstown name on the back of every vehicle. Lordstown has been a great place to make cars. Burns hopes it won't have to worry anymore from model to model.
You know, we're starting with the first full-size pickup trucks. Our goal is to have an entire fleet of different types of vehicles, all electrification.
The Lordstown plant has been in operation since the 1960s. Burns says he sees electric cars keeping it in service for the foreseeable future. Now let's take our first look at your local weather with Nicholas.
Well, another chilly day across the area. Temperatures were in the upper 30s and lower 40s today. Still pretty chilly out there right now. 36 in Columbus, 36 as well in Newark. 34 is the cool spot in New Lexington. 36 is the temperature here in Athens. All under mainly clear to partly cloudy skies as a high pressure is moving into the area. The highlights over the next couple of days: warmer temperatures are ahead. Rain chances will increase going into next week, and we will cool back down later on next week. I've got all the details coming up in my full forecast in just a couple of minutes. Spencer?
Thank you, Nicholas. In Ohio right now, a couple is sitting behind bars, accused of starving and abusing an 11-year-old girl so severely her life was in danger by the time someone got to her. Apparently, she'd been living with Charles and Margaret Breeze for 6 years like this. Jake Ryle explains how she ended up with them in the first place.
It started 6 years ago with a private custody change in Bracken County, Kentucky. Brown County prosecutor Zach Corbin says Margaret and Charles Breeze were given custody of the 11-year-old girl.
I think there was some distant familial relationship, and it sounds like there was really no one else that stepped up.
The 11-year-old was 47 pounds when she was found. She had no access to a bathroom, forced to wear diapers, locked in a bedroom, and fed rice once a day, all while on video surveillance, according to court documents.
Yeah, he was surprised. Actually, if we knew anything about the kids, we would have called law enforcement or talked to somebody about it before then.
For more perspective, we spoke to the director of Brown County Job and Family Services. Mitch Sharp says according to the Interstate Child Placement Compact, their agency should have been notified of the child's move from Kentucky to Ohio so it can make sure she was properly cared for. Sharp says they were not notified.
That she made the report and probably saved a life.
The child's online teacher reported to authorities when the girl told her she was hungry and had a stomach ache. Then Job and Family Services stepped in.
And placed in a safe, loving, nurturing environment. She's in a safe home. And I was told yesterday that she's gained approximately 15 pounds.
2 other kids aged 2 and 8 are now living with relatives. Sharp says there weren't any signs of abuse or neglect. Both of those cases were also cases of private placement.
The Breezes have been charged with endangering children, felonious assault, and kidnapping. A Kentucky high school student is recovering after being hospitalized from a possible vaping overdose. A press release from the Daviess County Sheriff's Office says the student has been treated and released from Owensboro Health Region Hospital. The release says the substance the student was vaping is being sent to a Kentucky State Police lab for analysis. Also, according to the release, 6 additional students and possibly others may face various drug charges. Coming up, updates on today's public and private impeachment hearings and an update on yesterday's school shooting in California. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Being a bear takes a wide array of abilities to overcome life's obstacles. From finding food to raising a family. But bears have also found a way into our world. And with the next generation learning by example, their contact with us could be their biggest hurdle yet.
The news broadcasts a violent world.
But we may be living in the most peaceful era in human existence.
An investigation of archaeology to neuroscience, Baltimore to Iraq. Can science help reduce violence?
Here are things that we could do.
We're really testing in the field.
The Violence Paradox.
We're at war with ourselves.
On Nova.
A former ambassador to Ukraine says she felt threatened by President Trump. That's just one revelation from the historic public hearings as the House conducts an impeachment inquiry into the president. Mary Maloney has the highlights from Washington.
The impeachment inquiry took a personal turn as the former ambassador to Ukraine testified she felt intimidated by President Trump.
It sounded like a threat.
Marie Yovanovitch says she was stunned after the transcript of a call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine revealed the 2 leaders tarnishing her reputation.
Shocked and devastated that I would feature in a phone call between two heads of state in such a manner.
President Trump removed the career diplomat from her post after what Yovanovitch described as a smear campaign.
All we have is our reputation, and so this has been a very painful period.
Democrats said her ouster set the stage for the president and his allies to push Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. President Trump reacted during the testimony, tweeting, "Everywhere Marie Yovanovitch went turned bad. It is a U.S. president's absolute right to appoint ambassadors."
And now the president in real time is attacking you.
It's very intimidating.
Some of us here take witness intimidation very, very seriously.
Republicans argued President Trump was well within his rights to recall a sitting ambassador and brushed off the hearing as political theater.
It's a disgrace and it's an embarrassment to our nation. She doesn't want to...
In Washington, I'm Mary Maloney.
And shortly after today's public impeachment hearing, David Holmes arrived at Capitol Hill for his closed-door hearing. Holmes is the counselor for political affairs, at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. He apparently overheard a conversation with President Trump with the U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, about the status of investigations into Joe Biden. That all occurred during a cell phone conversation in late July at a Ukraine restaurant. This is all according to Bill Taylor's testimony on Wednesday. Holmes was not named by Taylor, but sources say that he is the person Taylor was referring to. The Saugus High School community is in mourning today, the latest to feel the shock from being the site of a mass school shooting. 6 students were injured, with 2 sadly passing away at the hospital. Daryl Forges is in Santa Clarita, California, where everyone wants to know why a teenager turned a gun on his peers.
Saugus High School still blocked off by police this morning. This as we're learning more information about the shooting, especially the fact that 3 off-duty officers were here dropping off their children, heard the gunshots, seconds later rushed in to help, potentially saving more lives.
We were just standing in the middle of the quad, really not saying or doing anything. He had a backpack on, and at one point he took off the backpack. He retrieved a .45 semi-auto pistol.
Another mass shooting at a high school in America, this time in Santa Clarita, California, about 35 miles northwest of Los Angeles. Over in a matter of seconds, lives forever changed.
Shot 1 round and fired at 1 student, injured that student, and then appeared to clear some sort of jam in the weapon, and then fired an additional 4 rounds at 4 other students before turning the gun on himself. And that ended it all in 16 seconds.
The shooting suspect, a student at the high school, carried out the deadly attack Thursday on his 16th birthday.
I've known him his whole life. I remember holding him when he was a baby. I kind of looked at him as a younger brother.
As the suspect lies in grave condition at the hospital with a gunshot wound to the head, everyone is wondering, why?
At this time, we have no reason to believe that the subject was acting on behalf of any other group or any ideology.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff says the suspect's father died of natural causes 2 years ago. His mother and girlfriend were interviewed by detectives. Now, the relationship between the shooter and his victims is still unknown. Meanwhile, all the schools in this district will be closed today. In Santa Clarita, California, I'm Daryl Forges.
Next on Newswatch, we'll hear about the health risks of eating late at night. That story's still ahead.
And weather-wise, we've got a slight warm-up before another cool down later on next week. I've got my full forecast right after this, but first a look at stocks with local interest.
Meet Pulitzer Prize-winning Native American master storyteller.
There was a house made of dawn.
N. Scott Momaday.
I am a Kiowa.
His voice had a spiritual connection to the land.
You cannot separate the Native American from the landscape. It is his spirit. And the land was very old and everlasting.
Join us for Words from a Bear.
I turn into a bear on occasion.
And Scott Momaday on American Masters. The news broadcasts a violent world.
But we may be living in the most peaceful era in human existence.
An investigation of archaeology to neuroscience, Baltimore to Iraq. Can science help reduce violence? Here are things that we could do.
We're really testing in the field.
The Violence Paradox.
We're at war with ourselves.
On Nova.
Prison is here to punish us. It's not about rehabilitating. It just isn't.
This is a full-time, total commitment. When that door closes, you're at Bard College.
It's hard, it's difficult, but it's rewarding.
I gotta prove that I'm worthy of this.
They're trying to pay back to society. It changes your whole outlook.
I realized I learned something. That is where transformation happens. That is what stops people from coming back to prison.
College Behind Bars, Monday, November 25th at 9/8 Central, only on PBS.
Sama.
Sama, I made this film for you. Sama, I need you to understand what we are fighting for.
Welcome back. I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. Well, not much to deal with in the cloud department. That's all due to a surface high pressure that's pretty strong overhead, and it's all due to this jet streak right here. This left entrance region of that jet streak are where those high pressures tend to form, and that is where that high pressure is. This polar trough right here is far enough north to where we're not extremely cold, but this subtropical trough here, this branch of the subtropical jet stream, which is a dip in the jet stream, is still keeping us a little bit chilly all across the area. There's our high pressure right there. There's that polar trough at the surface, this surface cold front right here. That is not going to be affecting us. It's actually going to warm up over the next few days. But first, we'll get you through tonight. 8 p.m. 30, clear skies, 10 p.m. 28, 12 a.m. 28 as well. Clear, cold, and just stargazer's delight as you're going out and about tonight. Just a beautiful night, albeit a little chilly. 28 will be the low. Cold and again clear. Winds will be out of the north-northeast at 0 to 5 miles an hour. Across the area, much of the same. Temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s. 30 degrees in Columbus, 28 in Newark, 29 in Cambridge, 29 as well in New Martinsville, and in Marietta as well. 28 here in Athens, the warm spot. 31 down in Ironton. Again, clear to partly cloudy skies as you're going out and about tonight. That high pressure still remains overhead. It's right up here. We're also getting influence from this high down here in the Arkansas-Louisiana border, and that's just going to keep us clear as we go throughout the next couple of days, and it's just going to be a gorgeous day tomorrow again, albeit a tad bit chilly. 28 at 8 a.m., 34 at 10 a.m., 39 at noon. Mainly sunny skies all throughout the day. Just a beautiful day again, albeit a little chilly. 44 will be the high. Partly cloudy and again a little bit cool. Winds will be out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour across the area. Again, much of the same. 43 in Columbus, 44 in Newark, 43 in New Lexington, 44 here in Athens, 47 the warm spot. Down in Ironton, 45 over in Ripley. Mainly clear to partly cloudy skies just about wherever you go tomorrow. Here's our 10-day air masses. Again, this trough right here, this dip in the jet stream, this cooler air, that's not going to be affecting us. It's actually going to move out of the area, bring up warmth from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to warm up to begin next week before a slight cool down on Monday after a slight cold front comes in, bringing in some rain chances as well for your Sunday afternoon, but another warm up is in store by next Thursday. So it's just going to be a gorgeous week ahead. Again, just some slight rain chances here or there. 49 on Sunday, 48 on Monday with clouds moving in, 45, partly cloudy on Tuesday, 49 on Wednesday. Here comes our warm-up on Thursday with a high of 52, and rain chances increase on Friday with a high of 42. Lows will be in the upper 20s and low to mid 30s. 21 will be the low Saturday night, 30 will be the low on Sunday night, 29 will be the low on Monday night, 31 will be the low on Tuesday night, 34 will be the low on Wednesday night, 35 will be the low on Thursday night, and Friday would cool you back down for another cool down coming in for next weekend, and maybe some snow chances Friday night into next Saturday. Spencer?
Thank you, Nicholas. This year's flu season is getting an early start. That's according to experts at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They say 30 states are already recording flu activity. And for this time of the year, that's the highest number they've seen in decades. In fact, in California, Louisiana, and Maryland, cases of flu are already widespread. 7 other states are seeing regional cases of the virus. Health officials say it's more important than ever to get your flu shot now. And so far, the vaccine appears to be a good match to fight the active strains making people sick. Eating a big meal for dinner can leave you feeling uncomfortable, but consistently overindulging in the evening can lead to serious heart problems. Britt Conway explains in today's Health Minute.
Sitting down for a nice meal is always a good way to end the day. Just make sure it isn't the biggest meal you've had all day. According to a preliminary study by the American Heart Association, women who consumed more of their daily calories later in the evening were at a greater risk for cardiovascular disease than women who didn't. Study participants tracked what they ate for 1 week at the beginning of the study and for 1 week 12 months later. Researchers found that while most study participants consumed some food after 6 p.m., those who consumed a higher proportion of their daily calories after that time had poorer heart health. And with every 1% increase in calories consumed after 6 p.m., the likelihood of higher blood pressure, body mass index, and poor long-term control of blood sugar increased. And while this study only considered a small sample of 112 women, experts say it's an important step to understanding the connection between diet and cardiovascular risk factors. For today's Health Minute, I'm Britt Conway.
Coming up, OU's men's basketball team has a new breakout star. More on that after the break. First, here's a look at what's coming up.
Prison is here to punish us. It's not about rehabilitating. It just isn't.
This is a full-time, total commitment. When that door closes, you're at Bard College.
It's hard, it's difficult, but it's rewarding.
I gotta prove that I'm worthy of this.
They're trying to pay back to society.
It changes your whole outlook.
I realized I learned something. That is where transformation happens. That is what stops people from coming back to prison.
College Behind Bars, Monday, November 25th at 9/8 Central, only on PBS.
Summer.
Sama, I made this film for you. Sama, I need you to understand what we are fighting for.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
We have a responsibility to let people know the truth.
I want everything. Dirt, okay? I'm all about story.
I get chills reading Vivaldi's handwriting. This is Liszt's piano.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Go to pbs.org/watchpassport and find out how you can start streaming today.
The Hamptons are at the very east end of Long Island.
We have some of the wealthiest people on the planet.
And right in the middle of that, we have a Native American Indian reservation.
The Southampton Town Board has made massive efforts to protect their colonial sites, but they don't make an effort to help preserve our Native American sacred sites. We have to live here together.
Conscience Point.
Ohio University's men's basketball team, still in their opening stretch of games for the season, has a new breakout player. WOUB sports reporter Michael Roth takes a closer look.
Ohio sophomore point guard Jason Preston has taken the keys to the Ohio offense and is averaging 9.7 assists per game. That's near the top in the entire nation.
He's got that vision, he's like Jason Kidd. He's got eyes in the back of his head, and he's always got a great sense of who's where and where the rotations are coming.
I guess the assist kind of just came. I guess I'd say I want to be up there, but it's not really like something I'm trying to do. It's more just coming to me.
Preston hasn't just been a distributor. On Wednesday night against Iona, he scored a career-high 27 points. This explosion wasn't a surprise to his teammates.
We all knew Jay could do it. We've all seen him do it in practice. We've all seen the work that he's put in, just the type of player he is. Obviously, he's a great teammate, always looking to pass, but last night, something clicked for him, and just to see his confidence out there, just getting to the rim, shooting deep threes, something that he hasn't done very much. We know that he can do it, but him finally just showing what he can do, it was a beautiful thing to watch last night.
Pulled him aside and said, hey, look, when you get in there, you got to start looking to score, because he's always looking to pass. And, obviously we needed him to score, and he was able to get into the lane, and he's got such an unorthodox touch.
Preston hasn't sat in Ohio's 2 road matches this season. Coach Bowles gives Preston the freedom to decide when he needs a break.
And I asked him at halftime, I said, hey, can you go another 20? And he said, yeah, I can do it. And I said, if you need a blow, let me know. We had 3 timeouts left.
You can watch Preston and the rest of the Bobcats on Saturday when Ohio travels to play nationally ranked Villanova at noon. For WOUB Sports, I'm Michael Roth.
A fight broke out at the end of the game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns last night. During the final seconds of the fourth quarter, Cleveland's Myles Garrett sacked Pittsburgh quarterback Mason Rudolph. Moments later, tension between the two rose, and Garrett tore off Rudolph's helmet and hit Rudolph on the head with it. Shortly afterward, players from both teams ran toward the scene. Garrett was suspended indefinitely and without pay by the NFL today. Both teams were fined $250,000 each. We spoke with one Steelers fan here in Athens about his thoughts on the situation.
I'm glad that, the rivalry is kind of back, considering that the Steelers have pretty much owned the Browns for the past 20 years. So I'm happy that they actually are good enough to compete again. But I think Myles Garrett should be suspended for the rest of the year because he's clearly a dirty, trash player, and doesn't deserve to play football again.
As of now, it's unknown when or if Garrett will return to the NFL. A child prodigy from Belgium is set to obtain a bachelor's degree at only 9 years old. That's right, Laurent Simons is currently studying electrical engineering at the Eindhoven University of Technology. Simons is set to graduate in December and plans to embark on a PhD program in electrical engineering while simultaneously studying for a medical degree. Now let's take one last look at your local weather with Nicholas Snyder.
Thanks, Spencer. Cold air is off to our north, but it will not be affecting us over the next couple of days. We're going to be under warm weather, and that's going to come in mainly on Sunday. Warm air from the south is going to push up north into southeastern Ohio, northeastern Kentucky, and northern West Virginia over the next few days before another cool down comes in for the beginning of the week after some rain comes in earlier on this week, but another warm-up is in store for Thursday into Friday. Extended forecast, look at this. We warm you up into the 50s for Thursday into Friday before rain chances come in at the end of the week. Spencer?
Thanks, Nicholas, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Spencer Charlton. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next, and remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org.
Support comes from Buckeye Hills Regional Council, offering services to help seniors in reviewing and choosing the right Medicare plan and coverage. Buckeye Hills counselors are available at 1-800-331-2644. Open enrollment continues through December 7th. Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parkersburg, focusing on helping people achieve a life they dreamt of with a custom strategy.